Okay. Wow. Thank you, everyone who is here. I want to officially welcome you to this studio. And from now henceforth, I also want to announce that these will be referred to as the Mentor Kawira CBC studio. We thank God for the provision. I actually never saw this one coming. Let me sincerely confess. But God is God. And as the Bible says, he sees the desires of our hearts and He provides as per that desire. I can actually be here to say that is a true verse in my life. The way this studio has come up, the provision, the opportunity, I just cannot tell how it has happened, but it has happened. I am live both on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel, Mentor Kawira Chats, and you're most welcome. And as I've said, let me repeat it once again. This is going to be an ongoing studio where we shall be discussing basically CBC matters and where you also are free to ask a question concerning CBC issues. And I'll be back to answer when we go live the next time. I can also maybe answer by just replying to your question on the platform. So you ask whether on Facebook or on this the YouTube channel. So the reason this thing has come, it's been created by the many challenges I have faced out there, by quite a number of interactions I have had with the different forums of parents. Basically, from January, I've been meeting parents of grade 9, basically, and we've been talking about them. And I realized that so many parents out there, the learners and even the teachers, they are having a challenge because parents, like, literally, they don't know what next. Where are they taking their children after they finish the grade 9? But I thank God that our government is really putting efforts. I know they are working day and night to ensure that the whole thing is streamlined. And by the time our student do the junior school exam in November, so that by this January they will be able to proceed to the senior school without many challenges. And I really appreciate that bit of our government. So today I just want us to talk briefly as we launch this studio on how the CBC learners will be admitted to the senior schools, what will be really be considered. And I'll just mention something small about pathways. For now, the parent with the children in the CBC curriculum, you are familiar with that one pathway. And maybe for those who are not familiar, I would say, like, pathway is what we are calling, like, now telling our children under 844 to choose the career and all that. So in senior school, the children will be placed there as per their interest. One of the key features about the CBC is that the learners are not being subjected to things which they don't have so much interest in. So when we talk of pathway, we are talking of a child who has interest in science related things. He's allowed to go into a school that just adores the sciences. So the school will be called a STEM pathway. The child who is interested in art will not be subjected to those, chemical analysis, practicals, and all that. They will just go to the area, and that is why CBC is good. It's actually, like, excite me when I talk about Saita, whereby our vision and our mission has been on no lost academic potential. I always carry this logo here with me, no lost academic potential. So this time the curriculum you're having in the country is like completely allowing the child to specialize in what they are so much interested in, so that if I'm not interested in acting and the languages, I don't have to read all those set books, and my area is in chemistry and mathematics. So I start specializing in my area at a higher stage of my life, and that way makes me put all my potential, all my attention, all my concentration into the things that are going to help me move on in life. So basically, that is what CBC is all about. So thank you so much, Becky. I can see you on my Facebook, and I'm happy you are here with me on these Mentor Kawira CBC updates. I know you're going to work a lot, even on what you do there back in Meru. So the CBC students will be subjected to now what is called pathways. So that is what I was talking about, pathways. And recently, the Minister of Education, through the officers who are working around the clock at the neck of not the neck, the what? It's the curriculum and the quarters, KICD. They gave us now a bit more of some light on what is going to happen with these learners. They told us pathways are going to be in consideration of a number of factors. And maybe today I can just mention that as we prepare more content for this channel. So we are going to have pathways in terms of the type of the school. And they told us we are going to have some schools are going to offer triple pathways, and there are those which are going to offer double pathways. Triple pathway senior schools will have the three pathways which we are expecting, and these pathways are basically the STEM, that is what we calling the science and the mathematics and the engineering pathway. Yeah, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics pathway. So there are those triple pathway going to offer that STEM, and then they'll offer the other, the art and the sports science pathway. And we are also going to have the social sciences pathways. So there are some schools, depending on the facilities they have, they will be allowed to do the three. And we thank God for that clarification. I remember someone had asked me this around 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was not very sure. But I thank God that KICD officers are really working around the clock to really give us clearer direction. So we are going to have, if a school has all the facilities, it has good laboratories, and they are going to have all the facilities for the learners to do the sciences, they'll do that pathway. If they have good field, they are going to allow the art and sports science pathway. The learners will be doing that. And the social science pathways, they'll also do that. That is the social sciences is where now we are going to have the people who do with the communication, the people in the literature, the people who are good in the whatever the bit about the you know, those we would call them FASI. We are used to them as FASI being and the literature being and all that. So there are some schools which will be called triple pathway senior schools. They're going to do the three, and then you are going to have others which will be called double pathway senior schools. So that will be one of the factor which you are going to have for categorizing of the schools. Then the schools will also be categorized in terms of accommodation. So there are those which will be day senior schools, whereby learners will be just going during the day and then go back home. And you're going to have the hybrid senior schools, meaning An hybrid is whereby there are some learners who will be accommodated in the schools, and those who choose to still be going home, they can still be going home. So there are those who are going to be specifically day senior schools, no accommodation. And then you're going to have hybrid, whereby some learners can choose to spend in school and others can choose to be going in the morning and then go back home in the evening. Then another categorization factor will be in terms of gender. We are going to have some schools which will be allowed to be single gender. They can be boys senior schools or girls senior school. And then we shall also have schools that are going to be mixed gender, and especially the day senior schools. Those ones are going to be mixed gender, whereby they can accommodate both boys and girls. And then we are also going to have a category in terms of special needs. That is, for the special needs case, we're going to have the ones who will be doing like vocation and all that. So that's a bit about categorization. Now, when it comes to, thank you, Cecilia Duku, for joining us on Facebook. I appreciate your being there and watching us. We thank God for that, and we hope you're going to pass the message to many more. So when we talk of now how these CBC learners will be placed, so they'll be placed in those different categories. There's we were waiting for a launch of the whole document by our Able Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Ogembo, who was to do this in Machakos town on Friday. And after that, this the whatever is going launching will now be discussed in all the 47 counties from 9th, which was actually the day before yesterday, up to 15th of this month. So there's that dialogue going on, and I would want all of us who are able to do that participation to really take part into it, so that we can be able to move on and actually help our learners the more by giving our view and our participation and all that. So today, I just wanted us to look at that bit of how the pathways are going to be done. And at least I believe now parents have a more of an idea. High schools and generally the schools, the secondary schools, now you now understand. If you have all the facilities, you can be a triple pathway senior school, whereby you're going to offer all the pathways, the 3 possible pathways. You're going to offer the STEM, you're going to offer the arts, it's called arts and sports science pathway, and you're also going to offer the social sciences pathway. The day schools, you can continue now into the senior school as a day senior school, and you can still continue also as a mixed gender senior school, because you have been having you've been having children coming to your schools in the morning and leave. So you can have that. Now your school will be a day senior school, and you can continue with the 2 genders. So it will be, in categorizing as a gender, it will be a mixed gender senior school. Those who have been having a single gender school, you can just continue like that as a hybrid now senior school, because you will be required to accommodate the children who are within your locality, who will not be able to fit into the available day school, but then they can come to the school and still go back home. So you will not continue just as a single gender. In terms of accommodation, we will not have a single gender senior school. boarding. It will be hybrid. So some learners will be coming in the morning and leaving in the evening. For the day schools, when we talk of you being a day senior school, you may now have to go to the triple pathway if you have especially the science equipment. That's going to be a bit of a challenge if you don't have enough facilities to offer the sciences. So if you feel like you don't have a laboratory, you've been using maybe the laboratory in the next maybe boarding school, you didn't have enough facilities in your laboratory, you can avoid the STEM pathway and do become a double pathway senior school. So in that case, you will be having the art and sports science pathway, and you'll also be having the social sciences pathway, whereby you miss the STEM if you don't feel like you have enough facilities for your maybe for the science, for the STEM. So that basically what's going to happen. And I can actually see that there's a lot of opportunities now for all the schools to come on board and prepare themselves for the coming now senior schools. And now I believe now we have been having a lot of challenges, the schools asking what is going to happen, parents feeling like me, I don't want my child to go to a boarding school. Maybe parents like they have been feeling like the school which is near us is a day school, and I don't want maybe my child after they finish the junior school to be boarders. Do I have to now take them to the maybe the day school? Now you can take them to a boarding school, but they still become day scholars, because as I've mentioned, the accommodation is in two categories, which is a day senior school, whereby all learners come in the morning and they leave in the evening, or it can be an hybrid senior school, whereby some learners are spending in the school and some learners are going home. So basically, those in terms of accommodation, we're going to have to see a great change, because we've been having boarding schools, purely boarding schools. Some boarding schools have been allowing some learners to be day scholars, but a very small percentage, which has been happening over in the boarding schools of learners who have been going home, and then we've been having day schools. Now we do not have 100% boarding schools. We are going to have hybrid senior schools, whereby some learners will be accommodated and other learners will be this calling, going in the morning and leaving in the evening. And I think that actually brings to what to our at some limelight. We moving. We'll start. We it's just a start. I've said that I've been deciding to really be part of this, reach as many students as possible, and I we continue. I see Tabi, my wonderful mentee, there asking, are you still offering the Form 4 online mentorship during the holidays? Yes. Even over me, the time I was with them, and they will be having the opportunity to do now their online sessions from Mentor Kawira CBC studio. So Tabi, if you have somebody, you are welcome. Thank you, Kinoti Kawira Joy, for watching, for being with us this afternoon. And you can spread the word that now Mentor Kawira has gone into the CBC. As I mentioned, the reason I'm here is I've acquired a bit of more knowledge on CBC. I'm doing my PhD on curriculum and instruction, and I'm specializing on how we can make this CBC thing work in Kenya, because after looking at different countries and what the world is actually going CBC, Kenya, we were behind. We were behind. After I've gone into research and seen what's happening in other countries, how would you say our children were lagging behind if we were to continue with 844? The world is going into CBC, whereby learners don't have to be subjected to unnecessary things where they don't, which they don't need. And then we also allowing the learners the opportunity to start doing what they like. Like I always say, this mentorship is like my joy. It's like what I love doing most. So if I was subjected to this right from when I was young, I believe by now I'd have been very far. But I thank God it is still never in vain. So basically, CBC is not a Kenya thing. Kenya is actually coming into CBC late. And that is why we had to make it happen. I know we complained that the country was not ready, but the other countries were so much far ahead with the CBC. And now we are going into the global market whereby all learners need to be on board, and the world is becoming a global village. So if you were to continue with the 844, our learners will be completely lost into this CBC thing. So it was necessary. I know we're going to be having a bit of struggles, but I can assure you the officers at KICD are really going round the clock day and night to ensure this thing works. So let us support it, and let us, all of us, gang up to make it happen. Where you are able to do a small thing to make it happen, do it. Personally, I have gone that extra mile to make it happen by creating this studio by the provision of God. And I believe even you, in a small way, you can come on board and make it happen. And especially by posting some questions on this platform, whereby you also can refer parents with any issues. I think I'm going to announce a specific day and time when we shall be meeting, when I know many parents many parents are free, whereby I can bring them and we ask a live session for questions, even the learners, especially now on these pathways. I once met up, I think 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks or so ago, I met learners whereby now Alana asked me a very interesting question. She asked me if I participated in music festivals, am I going to be put in art and sports pathway because I participated in music festivals? And then I asked her why. She told me, I participated, and now I want to do STEM, but now I participated in sports and art and sports. And she was very concerned. And participating in co-curricular activities does not dictate that you'll go to that pathway. So learners, we are not saying that you shield off from doing something else. Like a learner may say, I will not run because I don't want to be put in these sports and arts pathway. So I'll never run. I'll never play football for the school, less I'm put in this. Those are some of the concerns I've come across with the learners. So let's refer as many parents to this. I'll be making an announcement of when we shall be having a question and answer session, whereby we can have, if I'm also able, I can make arrangements. I invite a few friends I have there out there who can give us more information so that we make CBC work for Kenya. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a wonderful moment having you. Thank you for those who really were able to join us online, being a first time session. I really appreciate the presence of Becky, Kagendo, Tabe, Cecilia Duku, Kinoti Kawira, and it's just happened. These are people I've interacted with at a very personal level. And I did appreciate your presence. And please spread the word and come to the page for more information. Thank you, and God bless you so much for being with us. We finish our session today.